This is Rugby Merlin and welcome back to the channel. This is my review of New Zealand versus Argentina in the second week of the Rugby Championship 2024. And it's absolutely blowing a gale as the game kicks off. The rain is pouring down, it's windy. I guess that's kind of typical New Zealand weather. But the conditions don't seem to be conducive to a very entertaining match, but it turned out to be quite a spectacular first half. So let's get into it. So the Argentinians have a little bit of possession in the first kind of 5-10 minutes, but the defense from New Zealand is noticeably turned up a notch, which as I said in my last review, they were kind of bullied a little bit, I think, last match. And that was not the case today. Their pack performed outstandingly, and it's kind of epitomised in these early stages of the match by Adi Surveyor bumping off to, he has a double bump on a couple of the Argentinians, and he surprised himself, I think. But he just a word on Adi Surveyor, he's absolutely fired up for this match. He was captain, and Jody Barrett, who had a magnificent game as well, he was vice captain. But I think that loss, last week, really stung him. Apparently he was in front of his home crowd, and he really had a superb game today, and I think he's one of the best players I've ever seen. I think he'll go down as one of the greats. So I hope people who are watching him play now actually appreciate how good he is, because he's a special player. So New Zealand do take it aggressively forward in the when they get the ball, and I got to say they did that in the first half, and that's what was the difference, I think, from last week. Very, very good aggressive ball carries. Derry, that guy they've brought in the second row, is really burst on the scene. Tubovai, I think, in the second row as well. They make a very good combination. It might be one to look at going forward, because they played outstandingly. And then Williams in the front row was absolutely immense. He absolutely creamed his opposite number in the scrum, and he was really good in the loose as well. He absolutely worked his socks off all match, and I think he was taken off about like 70 minutes in, 60, 70 minutes in, and he deserved his grog tonight. He had a fantastic game, and I think he was the kind of guy who shook off the shackles of being the new boy, and actually, he actually put in a fantastic shift today. So anyway, Jody Barrett puts in a nice kick, and New Zealand get over for the try. But they scored a lot of tries in this first half. Argentina did try and come back, just like they did in the first test between these two teams, but New Zealand just kept the pressure on constantly, and it was unrelenting. I thought Cody Taylor as well had a very good match. He's the kind of guy, he's a quiet guy as well, it looks like, from the outside. So it was nice to see him get up and at them, had some great carries. But New Zealand seemed not to release the valve on the Argentinians, and they just couldn't live with them in the end. The first half, they coughed up so many tries, New Zealand were good for all of them, and they took a very big lead into the halftime whistle. One of the nicest tries from the first half was the one TJ set up. He had a lot of criticism, along with a couple of other players who maybe we'll mention later. But he had a lovely snipe down the blind side, and a phenomenal offload. And I think it was Jordan then who scooped it up. Oh, it was a nice pass, but he scooped it up and just flew over. And it shows you the value of having a finisher like that on the side. But very good try. But New Zealand really put Argentina to the sword, and you could see they had something to prove. And you know, I'm glad they proved it, particularly in the pack. That was where it really counted. So going into the halftime whistle, it's 35-3, and you've got to say the Pumas are kind of crumbling here. You know, no surprise really under this kind of pressure, but Tamati Williams is absolutely working his socks off. He's sweating out all that sauce, and yeah, he was magnificent, I think, in the first half. Just in the scrum alone, you could pick him out as player of the match. But yeah, he was good in the loose as well. Just set piece, scrum dominance. The line out ran well. I think Derry is very good there. The handling was superb, considering the conditions. But even, you know, foregoing the rain and the wind, they just look more connected than they have done for the last few games. The forwards showed some dog, didn't let themselves get bullied, yeah, particularly that front five, and that made a huge difference. Adi Savea, as always, you know, he led with his actions, and that really helped them. But I think other leaders on the pitch are really helping as well, and that was more so emphasised in the second half. But there was a big response to the criticism. But that first half performance, I think the bar has been set now for Razor's All Black side, and they need to live up to that, like every time they pull on that black jersey. So it'll be interesting to see, because I know Razor sets high standards, and as he should. And yeah, that was a high standard they set in that first half. New Zealand continued to dominate in the second half. Jordan gets a try. It's the second of the match. He's just a machine, right? And yeah, the game kind of fizzles out. Argentina get back into it, but they bring on a lot of subs. Ratima is on for TJ, and he looks like the real deal. Very lively scrum half, more in a traditional kind of scrum half style than maybe TJ. Jody Barrett, I thought, was amazing in the game. He was vice captain today, and I think he embraced that role. You could see him at half time talking to the players, and yeah, him and his brother, I think the Barrett effect was really prominent in this team today. I think him and his brother had a fantastic game. Yeah, I've never seen him so vocal in the game, and maybe he's kind of maturing into that. He's like kind of a veteran now, so maybe maturing into that role. Yeah, so fantastic play from those Barrett boys. So there's not a lot really more to discuss in the second half, but because I was just thinking of the New Zealand squad selection. I don't know. I think probably the New Zealand fans, the AB's fans, were kind of thinking the same. Who are we going to take to South Africa? Because the game was already won, right? You know, Argentina put up like a decent fight towards the end, but it was already won, you know, at halftime. So I found myself like daydreaming about who they're going to choose for the tests over in South Africa. Let me know what you think, but I think it was such a dominant performance and so many good performances. I thought, like, a player I didn't really respond to was Blackadder, but I thought he played excellently in terms of his line-out contribution to the All Blacks, and he was scrappy in the loose. And you know, I thought he did pretty well. But there's some other players which I think, considering the dominance of the All Blacks, I think they kind of marked themselves out of that group. I will say Rico Ioane again. He had plenty of ball. Didn't see him much. You know, he did some good things, of course, but his team was super dominant. Contrast that to the Barrett's performance, and he was doing everything, like, you know what I mean, and very, very vocal, very talking to the players, but I didn't see that from him, you know. Also, Papa Louis at 7, he had some good plays. He got a really nice turnover in the first half, but again, I'm not sure if he's your man, like, you know. So just, you know, not a huge criticism of the players. They played all right, but like you're going to South Africa next. So yeah, who do you think could fill those spots? Anton Leonard-Brown again, looks like he has something to prove now when he comes on. I'm not sure that's the best look for him. He should be probably more composed, but you know, I think he's really desperate to get in this team. As I've stated before on this channel, I'm a big booster of his. I think he's a great player. So I just love to see him and Jody in the midfield there. Wingers, Talia, when he came on, he's such a freak of nature in terms of like being difficult to tackle. There was one sequence of play I couldn't actually believe it that the players fell off him that much. But to me, he has to be like considered as a starter for the All Blacks. But you've got now Caleb Clark, who got a good try. Yeah, you got Tamari Williams. You've got some good options now after this game, and I think the selection again is going to be intriguing for this South Africa little tour that you're going on, a couple of matches over there. But yeah, a resounding win for New Zealand, and yeah, I just think like Robinson is not going to let them drop now he's seen what they can do as a team and as a unit. He's not going to let them drop their performance levels. I would expect that of him, and rightly so, because they showed what they can do, and they're very, very, very dangerous once they get going, and it all stems from that front five. So congrats to the new boys coming in. They had great performances, Derry and Williams especially, but yeah, I can't wait now for the South Africa test. It's going to be amazing. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.